You ever wonder what it feels like to hold a thunderbolt in your very hands? I'm talking about a sniper rifle so powerful it could reach out and touch someone over 2 kilometers away. Stay tuned as we break down the 7 most powerful. This British-made sniper rifle is chambered with that newfangled 7.62mm cartridge, or as most of y'all might know it, the .308 Winchester. This thing was built by the Royal Small Arms Factory back in 1970, and it's pretty much a souped-up version of the classic Lee Enfield No. 4. Imagine taking an old reliable workhorse and giving that a serious makeover, because you know what? That's exactly what they did with this bad boy. The L42A1 is a sliding bolt-action rifle fitted with telescopic sights. You've also got interchangeable diopter-type sights, which means you can take a solid shot at something 730 meters away. Yeah, that's about 7 football fields, so not exactly something you'd use to shoot tin cans in your backyard, unless you live in a really big backyard. This thing holds 10 rounds and weighs 5.5 kilograms, so it's got some heft to it. But that just adds to its stability when you line up your shot. This rifle saw action in conflicts like the Falklands War and the Gulf War, and each time it proved itself to be both powerful and accurate. Heck, if it's good enough for the SAS, you know it's not messing around. The L42A1 came from the L39A1, which is actually designed for competition, not combat. So yeah, it's like when someone takes a sports car to a demolition derby. The L42A1 took that precision, cranked it up a notch, and was ready to rock and roll. They didn't make too many of these though, just over 1,000 units, but for those who got to handle one, it was a sniper rifle that delivered every single time. This bad boy has been around since the 1960s, and let me tell you, it's not just here for nostalgia's sake. It's been kicking butt and taking names for over half a century, and there's good reason why it's still hanging around. It was developed by the Soviets, and it was built with a mission to handle those sneaky moving targets, those camouflage threats, basically anything that thinks it can hide from a 7.62mm caliber round. And what does it do best? Send them packing. This semi-auto beauty can spit out 30 rounds a minute, which means it's got a bit of kick to it when it comes to putting rounds down range. But don't think for a second it's all about brute force. No. The Dragunov comes equipped with a PSO-1 telescopic sight that can lock onto targets up to 1,300 meters away. That's like shooting from one side of town straight across the other. Almost the sniper rifle equivalent of having eagle vision, and I'm talking full-on freedom from the top of the mountain vibes. And hey, it even comes with night sights, which means you're good to go when things get dark, as long as you remember where you put those batteries. Unlike me trying to find the remote after a long day. The Dragunov's got that Soviet efficiency written all over it, weighing in at just 4.5 kilograms and stretching out to a length of 1370 millimeters. This thing is light for a sniper rifle, but man, it still packs one heck of a punch. When it first rolled out, it had a price tag of $1,000. And you know what? This rifle's also got a bit of don't mess with me attitude, and I appreciate that. It's being adopted by countries all around the globe. The Dragunov wasn't just a Soviet icon, it became a favorite for militaries far beyond the old Iron Curtain. We even saw China take a crack at cloning it, reverse engineering it during the Sino-Vietnamese War to create their own Type 79 and Type 85. I guess they knew a good thing when they saw it, and that kind of tells you everything you need to know. If other nations are scrambling to copy it, means you got a winner on your hands. And listen, there's one thing that stands out about this rifle, it is its reliability. It'll stay solid through mud, rain, snow, and just about anything else nature throws at it. It's seen action in wars all over the world from Vietnam to Afghanistan. Meet the Stealth Recon Scout, or SRS. This American-made beast was developed by Desert Tactical Arms, taking some inspiration from the German DSR-1, and let me tell you, it is a bullpup sniper with a few surprises up its sleeve. Now, the SRS is what we call a bullpup design, which means basically all the important stuff, the receiver, bolt, even the magazine, is tucked back into the buttstock. What that gives you is a compact package, easier to lug around, but still plenty capable. Imagine a 22-inch barrel that's only about 36 inches overall. It's like having the power of a full rifle in a much smaller footprint. You could say it's kind of like getting a full-size truck engine into a sports car chassis. It is difficult, but it can be done. The SRS is no one-trick pony though. This thing was designed to switch calibers like you're switching gears. You got options here: .308 Winchester, .300 Win Mag, and .338 Lapua Magnum, all depending on how far you want to reach out and touch something. This kind of modular setup lets you train with cheaper ammo and then switch up to the big boys when it's time to get serious. Plus, it uses a manually operated rotary bolt, giving you control over every single shot. You know, like how I control my kids when they're arguing, one at a time, with patience, and maybe a little intimidation. Anyways, the SRS has optical sights mounted on the top, giving you an effective range of up to 1,300 meters. That's right, this beauty will hit targets further than I can throw a football, even if my arm wasn't as vintage as it is now. Plus, the thing weighs in at 5.5 kilograms. It's heavy, sure, but with all that firepower and capability, you're not exactly expecting it to be a featherweight. So if you're in the market for a sniper that's flexible, compact, and powerful enough to knock down targets from a serious distance, the SRS just might be the answer. Just make sure you got about $3,500 burning a hole in your pocket and maybe some extra cash for that gym membership, because this one's no lightweight. If you've ever heard someone say precision engineering, they were probably talking about this rifle. Now, any man who's ever toted this to work likely had a pretty stressful and important job. But let me tell you why it's a favorite for anyone who appreciates accuracy. It's the early 70s, and the German government just had a wake-up call after the Munich Olympics. They realized that having weekend hobbyists with G3s wasn't going to cut it when lives were on the line. So, they went back to the drawing board. And what they came up with was this beauty, the PSG-1. It's not your typical military rifle. This one's more of a specialized tool for elite units like the counterterrorism folks over at GSG-9. This bad boy was designed for precision, not running and gunning. Weighing in at about 16 pounds unloaded, you can probably tell why it wasn't exactly made for sprinting across a battlefield. But if you want to hold down a spot and make every shot count, well, this one is for you. HK's accuracy requirements were no joke. 50 shots into a 3-inch circle at 300 meters. If even one round stepped out of line, the rifle was rejected. That's a standard that'd make even my old grilling skills seem like they need a little bit of work, and believe me, they do. The PSG-1's barrel is a hefty 26 inches of polygonal rifling, designed to last for about 15,000 rounds. And when I say hefty, I mean it's almost 0.9 inches thick. Like holding a steel beam, except way more fun. And the trigger on this thing, about a 3-pound pull, with a second spring that kicks in halfway, making it one of the fastest lock times you can get. Basically, it's like the difference between hitting the snooze button and jumping out of bed ready to go. No delay. This rifle comes with a permanently mounted Hensoldt 6x42 scope. Now, I'm not saying it's like putting on your old man's reading glasses. No way, this thing's clear and precise up to 600 meters. There is even a button to light up the reticle for a couple minutes if you need it. Because nothing says I've got this like being able to see your target perfectly even in low light. At around $10,000 a pop, this ain't a rifle for everyone. Only the best and most well-funded squads had them. But hey, if you're gonna do a job, you might as well do it right? The SABR was born out of a simple idea. Why carry two rifles into combat when one can do the job of both? Whether you're kicking down doors in a close-quarter battle or hunkering down for a long-range overwatch, let me tell you, the SABR's just got your back. With two quick-change barrels, a 12-inch for CQB, that's a close-quarter battle for y'all not keeping up with the lingo, and a 20-inch for sniper action, it pretty much transforms faster than my teenager deciding what they want for dinner. This rifle uses good old 7.62 NATO rounds, meaning it packs a punch. You can swap out mags too, anywhere from a tidy 5-round to a full 20-round magazine, depending on what kind of day you're having. If you're feeling like precision shots or you need to go loud and proud, this rifle's got you covered. The SABR ain't just your average 2-barrel switcheroo, no way. It also comes fully loaded with some fancy schmancy gizmos. You got yourself a computer-assisted fire control system, an electro-optical sighting system, and a ballistic grenade launcher to boot. This thing's got modes for days, and it can turn any tense situation into a fireworks show. Honestly, it's like LWRC took one look at what every action hero needed and just said, why not all of it? The SABR is about 950 to 1100 millimeters long, or 37 to 43 American units. So whether you're running and gunning or lying low in Overwatch, it gives you the range and comfort you need. And the best part? It's only going to cost you around $3,000. You pop out the short barrel, snap on the long one, and boom, you're ready to transition from CQB hero to Overwatch sniper. It's easy, almost too easy. And if I'm honest, even my cousin Jerry, who once put diesel in a gas engine, could definitely figure this one out. Now, the TAC 50 is what you call an American heavyweight, not your average hunting rifle. Unless you're hunting, I guess, I don't know, across state lines? We're looking at a bolt-action beauty that uses the 12.7 by 99 millimeter round, which, for you non-math folks out there, is about the size of my Uncle Joe's thumb. And this thing can hold up to 5 of them, which might not sound like much until you realize each one packs enough punch to take down a target from over 2 kilometers away. And I mean way over. We're talking about a world record-setting 2,475 meters. And that comes courtesy of a Canadian Special Forces soldier back in 2017. When I tell you this rifle's got reach, I'm not kidding around. Weighing in at 11.5 kilograms, it's not exactly what I'd call lightweight. Yeah, they made parts of it out of carbon fiber to cut some pounds, but you're still lugging around 23 pounds of metal and dreams of long-distance glory. If you're thinking of going on a hike with it, well, you better skip leg day, because this bad boy is going to give you all the workout you need. Still, that weight pays off when you're lying prone, steadying your shot. Once you get it set, it's rock solid. Not even a gust of wind's going to make this thing budge. Now let me tell you, the TAC 50 doesn't just hit far, it hits hard. The bolt is smooth as butter, like real butter, not that margarine nonsense, and it's all about accuracy. I had this topped with a nice 16x fixed scope. And trust me, when you line up your shot, it feels like you're zooming in on Google Maps. Except instead of looking for your ex's new place, you're making sure that you can nail a target that's barely a blip on the horizon. Look, okay. The TAC 50 isn't for everyone. It's big, it's heavy, and it's loud. But if you want something that'll reach out and touch someone, hopefully not literally unless it's in a professional capacity, this is the rifle that gets the job done. Whether it's in the mountains of Afghanistan or a dusty range out in the middle of nowhere, this thing has proven itself time and time again. If you've ever wanted a firearm that feels like lugging around a small cannon, this might just be your jam. It's big, it's bold, and it's powerful enough to turn pretty much anything you point at into shrapnel. But hey, what else would you expect from a 50 caliber monster? Now I gotta clarify, the Barrett M82, also known as the Light 50, was never really meant to be a sniper rifle. I know. Hollywood and video games make it look like every special ops sniper has got one of these bad boys slung over their shoulder. But in reality, the M82 is designed to take out enemy equipment. We're talking about vehicles, radar stations, even your local bad guy's armored picnic table. You're not just getting a rifle, you are getting a weapon that makes anything within 1,800 meters rethink its life choices. Ronnie Barrett came up with this beast back in 1980, and since it's become a global legend. Militaries and law enforcement in over 30 countries have this thing in their arsenal. And you've probably seen it in action in movies like Rambo 4 or Predator, but let me tell you, holding this rifle in real life is a whole different experience. It's nearly 1,400 millimeters long, weighs about 14 kilos, and every shot feels like your shoulder just had an intimate chat with a freight train. The M82 comes in two flavors, the M82A1 and the M82A2 bullpup configuration. Both are equipped to deliver that 50 caliber BMG love, and they've even got different scopes to help you pick off your target from a comfortable and safe distance. The telescopic sights on these rifles are legit, offering you some top-notch US optics gear to make sure your aim is as good as it can be when you're trying to hit a target that's probably also having a really bad day. And speaking of optics, the Picatinny rail on top of the M82 gives you a lot of room for customization. The muzzle brake, huge. Like, it's the gun's way of saying, yeah, I'm gonna need some help to keep from kicking you into next week. It's surprisingly not as brutal to shoot as you'd think. I mean, I'd say the recoil's really more like an enthusiastic shotgun. But I'm not gonna lie, it still shakes you up a bit. One of the cool things about the Barrett M82 is that it can be mounted on tripods or even Jeeps with a shock-absorbing cradle. It's like someone took a look at an M3 tripod and thought, you know what this needs? More 50 cals. Whether you're popping it onto a tripod or a vehicle, the Barrett's got you covered. It's got a 10-round magazine, which doesn't sound like much until you remember that each round is about the size of a carrot. And not those baby carrots, we're talking about the big one, Bugs Bunny carrots. Loading it's pretty straightforward, and you can't help but appreciate the sheer size of it compared to your usual mags. Let's just say this thing is not the kind of thing you're going to carry around all day unless you're auditioning for a role in the next action flick. It's big, it's powerful, and yeah, it's expensive too, but you're not just buying a rifle, you're buying a piece of military history, a cinematic icon, and a real punch when it comes to taking out enemy material. But you tell me, which one of these insane sniper rifles blew your mind the most, and which one would you never ever want to face? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to check out some deadly ammo, check out the next video over to your right.